Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Sports Factory podcast. I have a guest here. And today, before we start, a couple of things. Number one, go to the description and go to the comments. I'm going to put timestamps for specific parts of the conversation. I can't put YouTube chapters yet. So go into the comments and description to get those timestamps of certain parts that you want to see. And number two, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video for more videos and more guests. So today I have my man Austin here. Go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, man.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Austin Toomer, former co-worker of Jesse's. That's kind of how we got in touch. And yeah, just here to talk sports. We've had conversations in the past, so now we're just recording it. So look forward to it.
So let's get it, bro. This is what I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about this first because this is on my mind. I'm curious what you're gonna think, but. So, the NBA season started, and the Los Angeles Lakers are usually the team that everyone likes to talk about, right?
Yes.
Now, the Los Angeles Lakers, in my opinion, is an absolute disaster. And LeBron James and Anthony Davis, those two type of talents not being, the number one seed or the number two seed in the conference is ridiculous. And that's crazy. That's a thing that they not make the playoffs, and they're like the 8th best team in the conference. And I believe there's a couple of people to blame for that, but I'm going to tell you, the Lakers front office has done the absolute worst job ever in building a roster. I have never seen roster malpractice as much as the Lakers. There is no shooting. Like, we are in 2022. You have an elite playmaker, right? A point forward elite playmaker seen as one of the top two greatest to ever play not his position, his sport, right? And then you have a big man who can shoot. He had a bad shooting year last year, but who can shoot threes, hit mid-range, excellent defender, right? You have those two, right? What do you do? 3-and-D wings everywhere. That's what you do. 3-and-D defensive players. Yes. They got Russell Westbrook, who is the worst shooter qualified person who takes enough threes, because sometimes for some reason he still takes those. Yeah. The worst shooter basically in the league for a person who takes that amount of threes. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely asinine. I want you to tell me, bro, what is your thought process on the Los Angeles Lakers, bro? Like, what is that team, bro?
Man, you touched on a lot of it. They just suck, like all around. You brought up the front office issues. I've never seen a team win a championship, have a championship winning formula, and abandon it. Because when you look at when the Lakers won in the bubble in 2020, their calling card was defense. 3-and-D role players that you talked about. They had Danny Green. They had KCP. They had Kuzma. They had
Alex Caruso.
All those guys. And that was their calling card. And they traded a lot of those guys, like you said, for Russell Westbrook, who in yesterday's game did not hit a field goal. 0 for 11 or 12.
11. So
it's just like I said, it's hard to imagine how they had a formula of defense and role players and abandoned it for stars, for star power, a third star besides LeBron and Anthony Davis. With, an aging LeBron and an aging Anthony Davis. I don't know if you saw the fall that he took, but he can't hold up he can't hold up.
Street clothes.
And that's street clothes. And that's always been the knock on them. And you look at all the young players that they traded around the league right now, Brandon Ingram and Lonzo's hurt, but Lonzo was doing good. Kyle Kuzma's doing great in Washington. All those young guys that they have are flourishing elsewhere. And here you just have a dumpster fire. I was thinking about it today, they're literally the Cowboys of the NBA. Where
Cowboys fans gonna hate that.
It doesn't matter. People are gonna talk about them regardless, but it's just not a good situation. And watching that game against the Clippers, it's like they might not even make the play-in. I'm not counting that. Yeah. The West is.
I feel you. The West is stacked. I feel you. Look, I'll tell you. I will tell you this too, man. I'm gonna tell you, and this is something that I've had. This is something that I've had for years. This is another rant. If you watch my last video, I had a rant where it came to the Golden State and me blowing the 3-2 lead, Chris Paul. This is another rant I had. I'm gonna have Russell Westbrook, in my opinion, was the most overrated basketball player I have ever seen in my life. And the thing is, not a lot of people will say anything about that. Like let's go back to 2017 where he won his MVP, right? Yeah. If you were just a Eastern Conference fan, right, you're not gonna like Russell Westbrook doing that's exciting. Say you're a team that sucks, or if you're a bad Western Conference team, like, oh, he's having a triple double. That's so cool. I love basketball. Yeah. Right? If you're a Golden State fan, we took your guy. We're blowing y'all out. It's nothing. As a Rocket fan, right, with the guy who was directly competing for the MVP, I'm able to see in a different lens, right? I'm able to see in a lens where I'm like, let me focus on his performance and James Harden's performance, right? And my man was stat padding his life off. Stat padding like crazy. And he had a 41% usage rate. The highest in history, meaning he had the ball more in a season than anyone who ever lived in terms of playing in a season, right? And I remember Charles Barkley that year was like, this might be the best MVP season of all time. I'm like, you are smoking something crazy, buddy. Boy, that is no look. Steph Curry's 400 threes, Shaquille O'Neal in 1999, LeBron in 2012. I'm taking those easily over Russell Westbrook, and then he loses in 5 games in the first round. Like, of course he does. Let me take a look. And then he averaged a triple double the next year, and then the next year, and then what happens? He doesn't win the MVP. Doesn't come close to the MVP. You know why? Because that triple double didn't even matter. All that triple double crap didn't even matter. He was stat padding, and then they said, you know what? He lost KD. He had the better story.
Yeah, the narrative.
Here's the MVP.
Exactly.
He had the narrative.
Like, the narrative was good for that season. And, yeah, like you said, he did it 2 more years, and it was...
Not even close.
Not even close.
So here's another thing. He's in Oklahoma City. So he's not going to win. So it's like, small market, you're not going to win. So it doesn't matter. You can do that little stat padding crap. Comes to Houston, he has one good month in Houston. It's a great month, though.
Excellent.
He had that one good month. You remember that month?
Yeah.
He was like Shaquille, it's like in the paint, he was killing people in the paint. Like, he was amazing.
For PJ Tucker, micro ball.
Yeah. And he was really good in micro ball because he was smart. He's not a smart player. He was smart for that 1 month. No threes. Don't shoot no threes. You're bigger than other little point guards. Back him down. Get into the paint. Abuse the paint. Don't shoot threes. And he was doing that. Then he got injured. Then he got bad habits again. And it all went away. He went to the Wizards, small market team. No one cares about the Wizards. Cool, right? He goes to the Lakers. That's a humongous market team. That team has expectation, championships. You have LeBron James, expectation. And I was like, that is exactly where you're going to get exposed. And he got exposed. When his athleticism wanes, what happens? That was his only thing. That was his only calling card in his prime was his athleticism. It wasn't his playmaking. Yeah. I'm not going to say that. It wasn't his IQ more so.
He's never been a high IQ guy. Even like when you bring up athleticism, he had that. But even with the athleticism, you look at his percentages around the rim, he's never been like an efficient player. He's just been so explosive and he plays with so much heart. And it's like, that's what appeals to people. It's just like, when you just look at it objectively, we're seeing it now.
Yeah, like, he sucks. That man hit off the backboard. He off the shot clock. I have never seen someone, he be hitting off the shot clock, and when he does the backboard, you do the bank shot. It's not a bank shot. It banks to the team. It's like it hits that backboard and goes to the other team instead of on the rim.
Yeah, it's like you think about somebody like Tim Duncan, who just missed the fundamentals, just a perfect bank shot. And Westbrook, it's like, oh my goodness, just no. It's just
he sucked. Like, his athleticism goes. I knew his career, and the thing is, the crazy thing, he shot 0 for 11 yesterday, right? And then he was like, they're asking him questions, right? See if you hold yourself accountable. He was like, what happened? What's the problem? This and that. He's like, that's the problem. Like, he has no accountability. Like,
zero self-awareness. None.
Oh, his self-awareness, that's at 0 straight up.
When it comes to his basketball game, zero self-awareness. Then he talks about, oh, I live a great life, or I'm blessed, I have a family that loves. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the product that we see on the court, and you're lacking. You've been lacking. You will continue to lack. And going back to what you even said with the MVP season, he didn't even have the best season that year. Like you said, James Harden, also Kawhi Leonard. That was the year Kawhi Leonard really took that next step and was just killing it. Kawhi or Harden should have won it over them. But like we said earlier, narrative is why.
And boy, the narrative, bro. The narrative whooped James Harden's ass, bro.
Yeah, it's just
for years. James Harden could have been a 4-time MVP if he had one story go his way. 3 did not go his way. The Steph Curry story the first time it go his way. The Russell Westbrook story didn't go his way. And the Giannis Antetokounmpo story did not go his way. My man averaged 36. They gave it to Russell Westbrook for the triple-double and being a 6 seed. My man averaged 36 as a 4 seed, and they ain't giving it him. 36, 33 straight games he scored 30 points or more. That's Wilt Chamberlain. And they didn't give it to him. I was like, yeah, I got you. I understand. It's just not. Yeah, he has no plot. He's not a main character in the story. He has no plot because there is no way. If Steph Curry averaged 36 a game, Steph Curry would win unanimous for 6 years for just that 1 year. I promise.
You bring up James Harden doesn't have a plot, and I think a good reason, a part of the reason why it's like that is when you look at his game. I know you're a Houston fan, but it's like you must admit his game is not the most aesthetically pleasing. Like,
it's not the
triple, step back, flop, flail. Oh, like ref, like I got fouled and everything. It's like I think people don't like his game, so because of that, they don't understand how good James Harden really is. First off, and that's why when it goes to somebody like Westbrook, whose game is more it's just eye popping more. People, oh yeah, Westbrook's great, but it's like, no, he's not. But Harden's game is not that nice to the eye, but James Harden is solid. Like you said, he's just in the wrong time, like wrong plot.
The thing, Russell Westbrook too. If he played in the year 2000, he would be so great. Like the year 2000 is built for him. Like Allen Iverson time.
Allen Iverson, Steve Francis, all them. Oh, he would have been right.
Put him in that. Like put him on an Eastern Conference team, right? So like you have a better shot of going farther in the playoffs because the East was awful back then. Mm-hmm. Put him back and then have him do that triple-double crap. That'd be like what Russell Westbrook would be on some Allen Iverson type stuff because Allen Iverson wasn't very efficient. He wasn't an efficient player at all.
He wasn't, but he was electrifying to watch, and
and they remember him.
Swagger and the bravado, like he's AI, like the answer. I don't practice, things like that. It's like he was a likable character.
Yeah, Russell. Yeah, you're in the wrong time, buddy. Yeah, like
and and it was interesting when you brought up the expectation about how Russell was going to be exposed with the Lakers. Whenever they trade him, I know you've heard about the Indiana package, so they could get Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. When I tell you that's not helping, and when I tell you those two guys specifically, like they in theory fit what the Lakers need, but the pressure on them to make every shot, the Lakers, I think they said it through 2 games have shot like 19 of 80 something from 3-point range. And then it's just like, just bring a 3-point shooter in. It's like, one, you don't just go get a 3-point shooter. And if you do get a 3-point specialist, he's a specialist. That means he can't do anything else. It's hard to find, like you said, like that 3-and-D, like the guy who can do both, the guy that can shoot open threes and defend. He's not out there. That's why the teams who have these wings, they're holding on to them. The Clippers have hoarded several of them.
They got a lot of them, yeah.
Nicholas Batum and Robert Covington and
they need those.
And Norman Powell and
they need those, all those.
All of them. With Kawhi and PG, it's like the Clippers showed you yesterday a recipe for winning basketball in 2020.
Yeah, the recipe is just like get a playmaker. If you get a playmaker, that's great. There's multiple recipes, but the key is somebody got to be a playmaker on the team and can shoot. You need some 3-and-D players, some good role players. If you get yourself some wings, it could be a superstar wing, it could be a 3-and-D wing, but get yourself some talented wings who can shoot the basketball. The center can be decent. The center can shoot too. That's amazing. If he can't, he's got to be a good Capella type, or JaVale McGee was really good when he was on the Lakers. Remember Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee were on the Lakers as center, and they were playing really good.
They were walling off the rim. Like I said, back in 2020, like that calling card for defense, and you're not scoring inside. And we got Caruso and KCP who can fight over screens. Like that was a feisty unit. And they just, like I said,
they traded away for Russell Westbrook.
Just bad Like, that's just bad GMing, right? Just
like shooters.
Yeah.
So if you're a GM in the NBA, shooters, defense, GGs. That's it. Shooting, defense, playmakers too, but shooters, defense. Golden State, shooters, highest degree. Defense, highest degree. Playmakers. Freaking Draymond Green. They got a point forward themselves. They got a point forward Draymond Green. Steph Curry, playmaker. Shooters everywhere. Andrew Wiggins, a great defender. Right. Perfect. That's how you succeed. If you don't follow that blueprint, you're never going to win. I remember this. I remember the 2017 offseason. The Houston Rockets, they lost to the San Antonio Spurs. James Harden, I guess, was either drunk or concussed in that game 6. A lot of bad memories with my man.
Strip club, whatever it was. Yeah.
And in the offseason, we traded for Chris Paul. Everyone and mama was like, yo, it's not going to work, Chris. There's only one basketball. How do you do? It's Chris Paul. Take Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly, Chris Paul. Take Chris Paul now. Come on. And then what we also did was add 3-and-D wings, a PJ Tucker, Luke and Mute, and we already had Trevor Ariza. In my mind, I was like this, if the Cavaliers, because Kyrie Irving wanted to get traded that same season, I was like, what the Cavaliers should have done? If the Cavaliers had our offseason, they probably would have won the NBA championship the next year, because trade Kyrie to the Clippers for Chris Paul, right? Because I think the Clippers would say yes to that. I don't think the Clippers would be like, nah, we ain't taking Chris Paul, because Kyrie want to leave and Chris Paul want to leave, right? Trade Kyrie to the Clippers for Chris Paul. You get Chris Paul now instead of Isaiah Thomas. You get Chris Paul. You go out, get yourself a PJ Tucker. Chris Paul and PJ Tucker have been friends for years. You go get a PJ Tucker. You go get Luka and Mute. Remember, 2018, LeBron took them boys to the finals by himself. You add some 3-and-D wings who can go and challenge KD, because the reason the Rockets were so good is because everybody was hating on us, because we had playmakers and we had defensive wings who can shoot, and a Capella, right? Basically a Clint Capella. That's why, and I was like, that's how you win. Good job, Daryl Morey. You're doing good. Everyone hating now. Everybody picking the Thunder. They got Carmelo Anthony. Can't play defense, save his life. You can hate on us now, but watch us win 60 games and see what happens, right? And we would have won the dang championship if the man ain't get hurt.
Yeah.
But if the Cavaliers got Chris Paul, PJ Tucker, Luka and Mute, and kept the rest of their cash, have the Kevin Love, another shooter, right? And basically do something of that nature. Bro, that Cavalier with super LeBron instead of stupid J.R. Smith don't know the freaking score. If you get a Chris Paul who clearly knows the score and all the rules of the game and all that, bro, the Cavaliers, LeBron and Chris Paul are going to exercise some demons on the freaking Warriors. They're going to win the series, and LeBron will probably be seen as the greatest player ever because he beat that crazy KD Warrior team.
That is a fantastic alternate universe right there. Like I had never even thought of it like that. Yeah, they definitely wouldn't have got swept in 18. Yeah, like they definitely. That would have been. It would have been more competitive. I mean, but that Golden State team though, like with KD and Steph,
and we were up and all of that. Yeah. We had the formula. We got the formula for that. With all of that, we're up 3-2, and LeBron dropped 51 and was in wonderful position because that LeBron was on pay. Like that LeBron
was in franchises.
Like. That player, that 2018 LeBron is the player that you're like, I can take that over everybody. Like, if you take that one over Jordan, I'd be like, cool. Like, it's cool. Like, I think Michael Jordan, the greatest player. Yeah. You take him over, I'm like, that's cool. LeBron, 51 in Golden State, in position to beat Golden State. I was like, if LeBron can beat the Warriors with these plumbers and these freaking janitors and these teachers he playing with, if he can do that, then there's no doubt that he is the greatest basketball player ever. That should be stuck. That is just, you just know Michael Jordan ain't doing that. That's the greatest. And I thought that game one, I expected KD and the Warriors to be blowing him out the building, right? Mm-hmm. The fact they were competitive, and he has 50. But the reason they lost is because a professional NBA player does not know the score of the NBA game in the final seconds during a free throw.
Yeah, just the worst time. Like it's funny when we look at these athletes, we just see their supreme physical gifts and it's like, oh, like these guys are locked into the game and all this and all that. And then every now and then they have a moment of human error that is just like, wait, how do you not know the score of the game? I didn't know. It's like, damn, you really are like, you're human. You're human. Like 2018 LeBron told, that was like superhuman stuff he was doing to folks. So it's just interesting how we have those moments that just show us, yeah, they are humans at the end of the day.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you, man. Like, they're humans, but like I can't. Like Chris Paul knows this. He knows like if you're sagging or if you're this, if your thing's not tucked, then there's a fragrant or whatever, it's a technical foul or something. Like he knows little rules like that. Like J.R. Smith, bro. I don't know. I can't even get to that. That Warriors team has so much plot. The fact that Chris Paul can hurt his hamstring, and then the next series a guy can just not know the score. That's how you know you're the main character of the series. Plot armor is beautiful, and you're going to succeed. That's how you know. Yeah, that's, you just know.
Luck. Like you're just set up that way. It just happens sometimes that you just thank you.
That's I can't get. I ain't gonna talk about them boys. Them boys kill me. Yeah. But okay, I do want to talk about this too. Move on to this topic. Now, there are a couple of leagues that, there's baseball. As you know, baseball's going on. You're a Braves fan, I assume. You're an Atlanta Braves fan, right?
Yeah.
You won the championship at my expense. You won the championship last year. Obviously not this year, but how it goes usually, because I know how the pattern goes. Whatever team beats the Dodgers in the second round, they end up facing the Astros in the World Series, and they end up beating the Astros in the World Series. It's happened with the Nationals and the Braves. The Padres just did it. So if the Padres make the World Series and the Astros make the World Series, I'm going to call it right now. Hello, everyone. Padres will beat us. That's just the pattern.
But, man, Astros looking good, man. They already up 2 on the Yankees, man.
And they looked good last year, too. They were looking good. They won 100 games last year. They were in the World Series last year, too. And they lost to the team that was hot. So, nothing changes. But one thing when it comes to baseball, and it comes to another sport, I'm also another league, a very controversial league, but another league in the WNBA, right? The thing with those leagues is that, like, they don't get the attention that I believe they deserve. Like, baseball is a very exciting sport, right? It is, especially in the postseason. Yeah, regular season,
lit.
But postseason's terrifying. Mm-hmm. But you can't talk to nobody about baseball, right? Yeah. And you can barely talk to anybody about WNBA because no one knows any players from the WNBA like that, right? Now, this is my thing, right? I would like these two leagues to get more ratings, get more revenue, right? Like the WNBA, bro, like I want the WNBA to succeed. I have watched when I was in college, I was watching the WNBA finals, right? Because I was curious. I was like, it's Cavs, Warriors. Let me see. What's in the WNBA? And it was Minnesota Lynx versus LA Sparks. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Always facing like 4 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Like 4 years in a row, they faced off against each other. And I was like, why does no one talk about the Minnesota versus LA rivalry, right? But that's because no one knows the players like that. Now, me, I would love to rock a WNBA jersey in terms of like Houston. Because Houston does not have a team, right? We don't have a team. I'm not rooting for Dallas. I'm not rooting for no Dallas team. That's nasty.
Okay.
So the Houston Comets went out of business, like, I think in 2008. They won the first four championships of the WNBA. All went to the Houston Comets. Of course, I'm going to rock the Houston Comets. That's the only team that's ever been dynastic in the city of Houston. It's the only successful franchise we've ever had. So the football team has never been to a Super Bowl in the existence of its history. Both teams, the Oilers and Texans. The Rockets won 2 finals, and people say because Michael Jordan retired, and freaking the Astros was caught for cheating in 2017 and can't freaking win it ever again. So of course, I would root for the only successful team or dynastic team we had. The problem is I don't have one. But another problem is they don't market their players right. The WNBA and the MLB don't be marketing their players. I don't know these people's names. No one's going to walk up and just know people, right? Like, for instance, go to MLB. Everyone knows Ken Griffey. You know Ken Griffey Jr., right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
That's a very marketable person, right?
Yeah.
Played baseball. He has his own shoes. Mm-hmm. Why? Mike Trout is probably a top 15 all-time baseball player. And no one knows who that is. You can go to 100 people, they don't know who. Do you know who Mike Trout is?
Yeah, I do. But most folks, yeah.
Most folks don't know. Or there's a guy, and the other guy in the Angels, Ohtani.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like, he's doing some Babe Ruth stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And no one knows who he is.
Aaron Judge just broke the American League home run record.
And no one knows it. Like, people know who that is, but not as much, like, as they should, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a Yankee who just broke the record, right? Like that's like Derek Jeter. Remember the Derek Jeters and the let me make sure I get these people's name right because I'm not a super baseball fan. But remember, who was the guy who broke the record? Who's the guy who had 61 home runs? Is it Roger Maris or Robert Maris? What's his name?
I think
Maris. I don't know his first name. Don't come at me, baseball fans. Don't shoot at me. But like you have all these all-time Yankees, right? How come Aaron Judge is not known like that?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not in no commercials. Have you seen Aaron Judge on a commercial?
Yeah. I've seen him on like a commercial.
Though.
I've seen him.
No one watches. Like, no, it's depressing. Baseball is a local type of thing, right? Like, if your team is good locally, then your city's in it, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's not a national thing. Like, people don't just know baseball players nationally, right? Because no one knows anyone. All the good players, they're not on these commercials. And the same thing for the WNBA. The WNBA, bro, like, the only reason I knew who Sue Bird was is because she was on them State Farm commercials. The only reason I know Candace Parker is because she did the inside. I know Candace Parker. I did watch some of the WNBA stuff, but she's on the inside the NBA stuff on Tuesdays, right? Mm-hmm. Bro, that's marketing, bro. Like, where are you at? Like, these companies have to like market these people. I know the NBA gives money to the WNBA because they've had a loss every single year for like since they've existed. Yeah. But the thing is, like, these companies who like preach. I think Draymond Green touched about this last year. The companies who preach on like women empowerment, like, sponsor these women. Like, where is the Subway commercials? I see all these Steph Curry Subway commercials. Where is the freaking Subway commercials?
Get Russell Westbrook. No, get Russell Wilson Subway.
Russell Wilson, get him off
television. Let's ride. Get out of here.
Yeah. Replace Russell Wilson and put some WNBA players on there.
Yeah,
because no one knows anyone, bro. Like, of course you can't mark. You don't know their story. You don't know where they came from. You don't know what college they go to. You have to play 3 years in the WNBA in the college before you get to the WNBA, which is like crazy. Like, why do you have to play 3 years so you can just tear your ACL year 2 so you can't be the superstar in WNBA? That make no freaking sense.
Yeah. No.
But what you think, bro?
Yeah, and it's interesting how you bring up the WNBA marketing. I was actually just playing 2K earlier today. They started a season 2 of my team, and there was like, they are working on marketing it more. Like, with one of the My Team packs was like a WNBA logo, and I was like, oh, I didn't know about this team. I mean, it's kind of bad I forgot the name of it, but just like seeing that, like, it was like the W logo pack. I was like, okay, so they're trying to find ways to integrate it, and even in 2K, they have a whole WNBA mode where you can make a mod player and all that. Like, I've even come across some female content creators who've done like the female My Career and everything. So it's like you're right though. There definitely does need to be more, but I think steps are being taken. It's just a matter of like how big they are, But
one thing I would tell you too, if you're in the WNBA, you're not watching this, but if you're in the WNBA, I'll tell you this: the NBA took a while to be a relevant league as well. It was formed in 1946, right? And in the 70s, it was doing tape delays for the finals. Like, the NBA finals happened, and you weren't watching it live. You were watching the freaking you were watching it taped, and it's on national TV, and you never watch it live because no one cares about the NBA at the time. Yeah. And then they got a guy named Irvin Magic Johnson, and then they got a guy named Larry Bird, right? And then they got a guy named Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And it changed the landscape. Y'all need I don't know. It's gonna be hard to find that. I don't know if it's gonna be hard, but y'all need if y'all can find that transcendent player.
This is crazy. Like, when I was younger, I used to watch some of the WNBA, like the Detroit Storm. Are they still a team?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know what their name is,
but it was a Detroit team. Yeah. If I butchered the name, I'm sorry. But I remember like watching it when I was younger, and it was just, it was cool for me when I was like 7. I don't know why I kind of stopped watching it, but like, there was a time when I was kind of invested in it. And it's also kind of interesting when you look at the WNBA. Like, I don't even know, their structure is so different from the NBA because like their season is so short. Like, how many games is it? Like, it's like they play
30-some. It's like in the 30s, yeah.
In the 30s, and then they get to the postseason. Like, some of the basketball podcasts I listen to, they're talking about the WNBA finals. I'm like, already? Like, dang. So Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like some of the differences between them in the NBA. And going to what you were saying about the transcendent players, like I remember, Candace Parker and Maya Moore and Diana Taurasi and Deladon. I don't know if I forgot her first name.
I think I've heard of that.
Angel McCoughtry, like,
or what, Lisa Leslie. Remember Lisa Leslie?
That name doesn't ring a bell. But see,
that's very iconic name.
The perfect example is like I can name a few. You see, I was comfortably able to name off like 3 to 4 players, and it's like I should be able to know more.
But the thing is, like, the thing when it comes to marketing sports, like, we're not casuals, right? We watch a lot of basketball, so we're gonna know some of it's gonna like leak to us, right? Like, we're gonna know some players, right?
Yeah.
The goal for a sports league is to market to casual people, right? The Super Bowl halftime show is not for us.
It's not for us,
right? They'll put they could put like a pop star, that we're like, NFL fans, like, oh my gosh, why is she on there? Why is he on there?
Tunes in for the Super Bowl halftime show.
Just that it's not for us. They know we're gonna watch regardless. You don't have to put it. You could just be a basic halftime show. It could just be nothing, and we'll still watch the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Do it for them. Right, the NBA, they travel all across. They go to China. They, for the preseason games for exposure. They want to have international exposure. Right, that's more revenue. Yao Ming was huge for the NBA because when he came to the Rockets, a whole country, the 1 billion people in China were rooting and watching NBA actively, watching Rockets games. Right,
yeah,
that was great. And Yao Ming is probably top 10 most famous, popular NBA players ever. Everyone know Yao Ming. 7'6" Chinese man who playing in Houston. At the time, everyone knew who Yao Ming was. That's perfect for money. You know what I'm saying? For casual. So Candace Parker, you and me know Candace Parker, and Candace Parker getting more exposure, and I like that. But Candace Parker needs to be marketed more to casual people. Like, just like there's time I knew NBA when I was younger. I knew NBA players, but I didn't watch the NBA. Like, I would just exist, and I knew who Michael Jordan was. I existed. Oh, I know Dwayne Wade. Oh, I know that white guy in Dallas. What's his name? Nowitzki. This type of thing. I don't know. Like, I know his name obviously now, but back then I know he exists. Tim Duncan. Yao Ming. The goal, obviously, you're not going to do that overnight. It takes time, and obviously, also, it makes the product. I don't know ways that they can make the product even more entertaining. I don't know if there's ways. There's ways maybe speed up the game. I don't know because people love offense. People love this and that. So I don't know what ways they can make it more exciting. But the goal is to get them. It's like sending an email. We both worked in sales.
Yeah.
You need the subject line, right? You need an enticing subject line. That's the players.
Mm-hmm.
And then you read the email. That's the product.
And it's interesting you bring that up because now, like, we brought, like, when you were younger and stuff. Because I'm thinking about kind of how I got, exposed to basketball and everything. And a lot of it was, for probably me and you, like barbershop talk. And sports, like, I know magazines aren't really a thing anymore, but my dad used to have Sports Illustrated magazines coming in every month. So every month I would see, like, a new basketball player, like, oh, this person's gonna be the face of the NBA, and it wouldn't pan out. But point is, that person was, I would see that a lot, and that kind of just makes me think when it comes to, like, appealing to casuals. I'm not in beauty shops per se, but how could you get WNBA players to come up in a beauty shop conversation?
So with women talking about the WNBA.
Get some of the women talking about it and kind of I don't know. I guess kind of diverting attention from other things and like watch some basketball or something. Kind of unwind.
I think a way is to make the WNBA women need to be celebrities, right? And like they're not celebrities. Like a lot of them aren't celebrities. They need to have a personality. Like people fall in love with personalities. Like certain girls love Steph Curry. Steph Curry is, people love, they find him cute and all that. But besides that, he has kids, he has a wife. His wife had a cooking show, little vlogs, little extra stuff. So the WNBA players, like, brand yourself, go on YouTube, Twitch, other platforms. Oh, someone's calling me. But go on YouTube, Twitch, other platforms, right? And on these YouTube, Twitch, these platforms, just show your life, boyfriend, whether they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they have some kids, do this and that, just do things of that nature.
Yeah, a lot of NBA players, I realize, a lot of them stream on Twitch and stuff. But I guess with the women, it's interesting like how you kind of brought up, maybe showing off more of their life and stuff. I guess probably the reason why we don't see too much of that is kind of, especially when you're a celebrity, like when you do kind of expose more of who you are, that comes with more hate per se and vitriol. Folks don't want to see you happy. Like, I don't know if you remember, like with Lori Harvey, I know it's kind of, she's not WNBA, but Lori Harvey did something where folks are like kind of asking her like, oh, how did you get your body so right? How do you look so good? And she literally talked about going into a caloric deficit, and folks were trashing her. Like, oh, you don't eat, girl? Oh, like, man, folks were going in, and it's just like, see, this is why folks don't open up and let you see parts of what they do. Because what she was saying was valid. She was like, eats between 12 to 1,500 calories a day, works out 2-3 times a day. Like, she was literally giving the game that the people asked for. The folks got it and didn't like it. So it's just like, you know what? It makes sense why folks don't brand themselves as much as they potentially could.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I wouldn't say go too deep in your life, right? I would tell you this. I think NBA, more men will watch the WNBA than more women because, men love basketball more than women love basketball.
Yeah. So
on average, you're not going to get all like a more higher volume of women to watch the WNBA than men. But, you can find ways, good ways to make it more entertaining if there's any way you can. Or, like I said, if you're the players, you got to brand yourself, right? You got to do things, make yourself, like, we got to know, like, tell us your story. Because people aren't going to come to you and ask for your story, right? Like, nobody goes out and looks on their way for, like, you have to bring it to us. You know what I'm saying? We're the consumers, right? So, like I said, there's like these big companies, market these girls if you want them. So if you want the WNBA to grow, the NBA has to do the part in the sense of, instead of just throwing money, or I don't know how they do it, I have no clue how to do it, but like spend that money on branding for the WNBA, marketing for the WNBA, things of that nature, getting these big brand deals and things of that. Try to do that and let the WNBA players be on those, do Subway commercials or T-Mobile commercials, commercials like that. Those Gatorade, I know Candace Parker, I think she had either a Nike or a Gatorade commercial, but put them on those commercials. Make those commercials not just be sports commercials, as in like, I just see it while I'm watching Inside the NBA. Make those commercials on for kids. When kids, like have it for when on Nickelodeon. Have those commercials be played on Nickelodeon. Have those commercials be played on, channels that women watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it E? Entertainment News, I think E, and I don't know what women watch, but whatever those channels are, yes, put it for them, right? Put it on YouTube ads, like have YouTube ads. Let those be on YouTube ads, because a lot of people don't watch TV as much. Yeah. Things like that, or Hulu ads. Yeah, that's how you push it. You need advertising. Yeah. That is the subject line. You have to master the subject line so they can open the email and watch your stuff.
And touching on something that you said earlier about kind of having like that transcendent player, and we're about to see it in the NBA with Victor Wembanyama. Like 7'4" from France, ridiculously skilled, can pull up from 30, just does demigod stuff that you dream about, that you do in 2K. So I guess for the WNBA, like, because it'll be interesting to kind of track Wembanyama as he gets in the NBA and becomes this megastar that it looks like he can be, as long as he stays healthy. But whenever that next person comes up, the next woman who kind of has like that generational ability, like go all in.
Yeah, market them like crazy.
Go all in, man. Do what ESPN did with LeBron, where it's like when LeBron, like the chosen one, when he was still
all of that.
Year 20 LeBron. They talk about LeBron stat lines when they lose. Oh, LeBron put up 20 points and 15 assists. They lost by 15. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it don't matter. It's like if you go on freaking First Take, Skip and Shannon, they talking about the Lakers and LeBron, or they talking about the Cavs and LeBron. They talking about LeBron. Now, to get to the point where a WNBA player, because I swear, they have never in their life ever have had a segment talking about a specific, not the league, a specific WNBA player not a college not a women's basketball player in college, a WNBA player, and what they did. They don't have and I may be wrong. You may find the video, but it is
you'll have to look.
You have to look for it.
Literally.
Is very, very rare. Baseball, they'll do that if the Yankees and the Dodgers are playing. Right? They'll do that for that. For WNBA, you won't see that very often, if at all. But for LeBron and the Cowboys, you will not go long in your life without seeing a segment on those two things.
Exactly. And even going back to what you were saying with the women, how you haven't seen a segment, even when it comes to like college basketball, it's always about the coaches. Like with the coach at UConn who won like over 100 straight games or whatever. It's like we talk about I forgot his name, but everybody was talking about this dude. Mm-hmm. I can't name a woman that was on one of his teams or whatever. So it's kind of interesting how like with women's college basketball, how it's the coach. And even like with men's college basketball, even that is with one and done and everything, it's more tailored towards the player. So that's like an interesting distinction I'm seeing.
I got you. And for people like, I support, and Austin supports the WNBA. We want to see their success. Like, look, bring a team to Houston. I ain't rooting for Dallas. I promise I'm not gonna. I'm not rooting for Dallas. There's nothing that's gonna make me do that. Bring a team to Houston. Bring back the Comets. You know what I'm saying? And then when you bring back the Comets, y'all build yourself a good team, and then I'll be rocking some Comets jerseys. But look, like I said, it's gonna take a while. You're like 26 years, maybe something like that. 26 years, 27 years in existence, somewhere on there. Yeah. It took the NBA 30 plus years to finally become really good. So maybe another 10 years, you get yourself a really, generational talent. Y'all should make that 3 years go to 1 year so that generational talent don't get injured in college.
Exactly.
And then go to the WNBA and you market that girl like your life depend on it. I need to know who that girl is. I need to know where she came from. I need to know what she's doing. I need to know her whole entire life. Like, you find your person.
I need to load up Twitter and she's trending. Like
I need to see that. I need her to have plot.
Yeah. Exactly.
She needs plot armor. Give her calls. Make her win championships. Don't rig it, but give her calls and let's get it going. We need to see your Michael Jordan. If you have a Magic Johnson and Larry Bird that sets up your Michael Jordan, cool. But we need to see some transcendent people, and I need to see them on shoe commercials. Give them a shoe deal. I need to see something.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to do my part as a consumer of sports. Whenever I do travel back to Atlanta, just throughout, I don't know when the season starts or whatever, but I will do my part to try to attend an Atlanta Dream game. I will just to see, because folks who I know who've gone to WNBA games and stuff, like, it's a fun experience. It's just
I bet it's cool. It's cool. I bet it's a cool experience.
Yeah,
it's not boring.
Yeah, so I'll try to do my part.
I can't. Maybe you need to take me, bro, because I have no team root for. They took my team away, and someone can buy it back, bro. I know, like, look, Beyonce or Travis Scott, y'all are Houstonians. Everyone loves, bro. Like, bro, add another market. Like, we have nothing. We had the best team. I think we probably still have the most championships. No, we don't. It's probably Seattle. I think Sue Bird got 4 championships, but hey. Y'all step it up, bro. I'm talking about the people marketing them. I'm not talking about the players, because I'm talking about the people marketing. Y'all market.
Do more.
Yeah, do more. But I'm gonna switch it to this. This is something that I created. This is a tier list. This is still basketball. I created a tier list. I want you to hear my tier list. And me and my friend, I've talked to him about the NBA tier list for years, and I do want this tier list to be like a national tier list. But I'm not a very popular person. But this is my tier list for NBA players, right? Okay. So first off, you start off with, the average player. Simple enough. PER is probably like a 14, 13, 15. Role player, nothing really spectacular. Good at one thing or two things, not really good at other things. Cool. Come off the bench. Sure. You have your above average players. Above average players, think of a player, maybe like a Clint Capella, or, a person who's good. A good player, obviously not great. Eric Gordon a couple years back, talk about the Rockets, Rockets teams and all that. player who could probably get you 30 one day, but not gonna average 30. Probably put up 15 points a game, something like that. 16 points.
I like Tobias
good skill,
for example.
Yeah,
Somebody's just
Tobias
solid.
Harris.
Yeah, give you a solid 16 a game. Like he won't.
Yeah, you can't. Don't rely on him.
But he won't just give you 5. He'll steady. Okay.
Yes. After that, we start. There's the star tier list. You have a low end star. A low end star is a person who is a fringe all star. Maybe make an all star game here. Maybe an all star game there. Low end stars are players such as Mike Conley Jr., a Julius Randle, Jordan Poole. You know, they'll make an all-star game. Jordan Poole hasn't made one yet, but he's essentially a lone star at this point. But, you know, make an all-star game. He's nothing crazy. Another guy who was above average player, I'd probably say Andrew Wiggins. And then, you know, have the Jordan Poole as the, you know, low-end star, right? Those are your low-end stars. Low-end stars could be people who are really young, who are probably going to become higher up, but they're young and they're like developing and they're right now at the low-end star tier. Or Julius Randle, who is just clearly never going to be higher than that, right? Just a low-end star player, right?
Yeah.
Then you have your high-end stars. These are the upper-tier players. These are the players that are perennial all-stars, right? Yeah. These are the Bradley Beals, you know what I'm saying? These are, and I'm going to say the Kyrie Irvings, because Kyrie Irving is in the tier above. The Kyrie Irvings, you have the, let me think, there's other, Devin Bookers, you know, people like that. Chris Paul, these are high-end stars, right? Perennial all-stars, really talented at certain things. There's maybe a weakness that they have that's an Achilles heel that is making them not be that next level. Kyrie Irving in terms of, you know, terrible leadership skills and can't lead a team to save his life. Chris Paul, too short and he choked too much. And, you know, things like that. Damian Lillard, in my opinion, is also a high-end star. Nothing wrong with being a high-end star. You're a perennial all-star. The thing with high-end stars is they can have seasons or a season where they look like an MVP, but they're not an MVP player. But they look like, you know, Paul George had that 1 year.
Paul George. Yeah.
High-end star. He had that 1 year. It's like, oh, Paul George can be MVP. Yeah. He's not going to win it. But he had that 1 year. That's a high-end star. He had that 1 year, right?
That OKC year, that second one. Yeah.
High-end star. He looked like, and Damian Lillard, I think, had one the next year. He was averaging, he put up 50 points multiple times, this and that. High-end star looking like an MVP because you can get hot and have that moment, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your superstars. These are people who are MVP candidates usually every single year. These are the tip of the top, and these are only people that you can win an NBA championship with.
Gotta have one of those.
Gotta have one. There are 8, in my opinion, currently playing basketball.
All right,
there is the Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Facts.
Stephen Curry.
Facts.
Kevin Durant.
Facts.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic.
Facts.
Joel Embiid. He's there.
Okay.
I put him in there. The reason why I put him in there is because the next guy, Nikola Jokic, would have likely lost the league MVP because he won back-to-back. He's a superstar if he won 2 in a row for sure. He would have likely lost the league MVP if Joel Embiid was the most injury-prone person ever because he was going to win. Joel Embiid is like James Harden at this point in terms of just can't winning the MVP. He's always second place. Yeah. He's simply there. But Joel Embiid is great enough to do that. Win a championship, the only problem is that he's always injured at the most unfortunate and inopportune times, and that makes him never have the chance to do it. And then there's Kawhi.
Okay, Kawhi. I gotta say,
Kawhi Leonard.
I gotta say something about Joel Embiid.
Go ahead.
I get what you're saying where you put him in the superstar category, and he definitely has the ability, but bro has not been out the second round. He hasn't sniffed a conference finals appearance. He's been close, but it's like, can we really say that Embiid can be the best player on a championship team? He definitely has the ability, but it's getting to that point where it's like, bro, you gotta, it's just a testament to how the game is, where it's so hard to win with a big man as your guy, as your number one go-to. It is so hard. Like, even seeing with Jokic, I mean, Jokic got to the conference finals in the bubble, and you know, I think with Jokic we could say if it all clicks, yeah. But Embiid, I'm getting lower on Embiid by the year, where it's just like, bro, like, And everybody talks about this, number one option on a championship team. Or can he be the guy? And the thing about the guy, it's not a lot of them. So just because you're not the guy doesn't mean you're not great. You could still be you can be an excellent player and not be number one. So I agree with your tier list. I agree with it. It's just Embiid. Embiid's not a lock for me. I'll just
I know Embiid was one of those. Like I'll tell you, Luka a couple years back, because you knew Luka, you could tell some people are just gonna be superstars. And like with Luka, I was kind of fighting back and forth because he didn't make the conference. He couldn't get out the first round. Remember, he was dropping out the Clippers, but couldn't get out the first round. So I was like, should he be a superstar, or are you still a high end star, hitting the door, just like tapping? But I was like, after a while, and then this year he did make the conference finals. So I was like, this man, he put up 27 in the half, and then the Phoenix Suns team put up 27 in that same half. So I was like, yeah. You got it, bro. And it's like, you just take the crown.
So it's interesting you bring up Luka, and it's funny. I'm a Hawks fan, so it's like I gotta bring up. I gotta vouch for my boy Trae Young, and it's like I won't say Trae Young, even though I'm biased. Trae Young is not there yet, but Trae Young is like right on the door of those 8 players that you just named. Though he's like
Trae.
Not far below. Like
I would say, look, that's interesting. Trae Young.
Yeah,
Trae Young is.
Oh, here it is.
Let me make sure I say it right. So Trae Young, look, that trade that was made, right? Hawks, Mavericks, culture-wise, that's perfect because
culture.
Luka,
yes,
Luka in Atlanta and Trae Young in Dallas doesn't look right. It looks weird,
very weird.
But it's like at the same time though, like Luka Doncic, I can still get a chance. But look, I'll tell you that trade. One thing I'll tell you was going your way for sure when Trae Young had that really good run, that postseason run. He beat the Sixers. Talking about Embiid, took the Bucks to 6, right? And I was like, dang, can the Hawks like make the finals? That'd be the wildest thing ever. That was very impressive. And Trae Young, I think last year he led the league in total points and total assists.
And assists. Like that's nothing slight, but yeah.
It's very impressive. It's hard though. I was watching the Rockets and the Hawks playing, and I'm looking at and the Hawks obviously gonna beat us, because we're
shout out my boy John Collins, yes sir, dropping them off, yes.
But I looked and I was like, can they beat like the Bucks in 7 games? Can Trae Young beat the Bucks in 7 games? I mean, you could say he beat the Sixers, but Ben Simmons is just his selling abilities were so high. Like the Sixers should have won that series so long ago.
It was a very favorable matchup for the Hawks. I will say the Hawks kind of like I won't talk about Dallas right now. But with the Hawks, they had a favorable bracket to where they went up against 2 teams that ran drop coverage. That was their base. And what can't you run? And that playoff run showed you cannot run drop coverage against Trae Young because his floater is deadly and he's one of the best passers in basketball. He eats.
Yeah, the Knicks.
You can't.
He was getting the penetration. He was penetrating at every possession against the Knicks. That was freaking stupid. The Knicks were not adjusting to that at all.
Will. And it's just like, and that kind of goes into a team having defensive versatility. But it was interesting you bring up. Can Trae Young, beat the Bucks, beat the Celtics, beat any of them in a 7-game series? And it's just like, that's what makes the addition of DeJounte Murray. And granted, it's only 1 game, but you saw Trae and DeJounte, people are concerned about the fit. When you have 2 playmakers.
Yeah. But can Murray shoot? It's very important. Is DeJounte Murray a good 3-point shooter? That's a very important thing. Because we're the Rockets. We can't take advantage of it.
Okay, so he's not how do I word it? He's average. No, he's not a good 3-point shooter, but this is what he is though. He is a great mid-range shooter. I don't know if you saw just the length, the elevation he has on his mid-range. His mid-range game is top notch. It's up there. His transition game, top notch. So no, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he does everything else at a solid level.
But I'm telling you, if I'm brutally honest, right? If I'm brutally honest, the Hawks, and it's the thing. Trae Young is a high-end star for sure, right? High-end star player, right?
Yeah.
Now him, because the thing with those superstar players, those 8 players, usually you become a superstar because you have something weirdly amazing about you. Like there's a unique gift that you have that is weird. Like Steph Curry, it's weird that you can shoot threes that deep. Or Giannis, it's weird that you can dominate the paint at this level. Or it's Jokic, it's weird that you're this big and can pass like that. Right. Like Trae Young doesn't have anything that I look and say, that's weird that you can shoot. But you can shoot. You try to shoot the deep threes, but it's like Steph Curry.
Okay, he doesn't have anything with. I mean, you brought it up. Like he's 6 feet, if that. He says he claims he's 6'2", but bro, to be 6 feet and lead the league in total points and assists. I mean, that's not special.
It's special, but
he may not have like a standout skill, but. For him to do what he can do at his stature, kind of like the Chris Paul thing. It's like Chris.
Yeah, but Chris.
But with Chris Paul, a lot of it is he's 6 feet and can do everything he does. He's a playmaking wizard. All that. So that's the thing, and it's so funny with Trae Young. Everybody talks about like, the Steph Curry because he shoots deep threes. Buddy is really Steve Nash. First off. He's more Steve Nash than he is like Steph Curry. Like, because Steve Nash was that, and Steve Nash didn't really have the points to show for it, but he was just that you give him the ball, he's going to get a good shot for himself or others every single time. Like, that's just what he did. And Trae Young, and when Travis Lane drafted Trae Young, he said it wasn't even the shooting, it was his passing. Like, you bring up Luka, you bring up Jokic, you bring up LeBron. All those guys are over 6'7", and those are like some of the best passers because they can literally see the floor because they're taller. Trae Young is right up there, and he's 6 inches shorter.
I think like the 6 foot, that's good too. You know, like I said,
yeah, and
great high-end star player.
He's not at superstar, but he is right under them. He is right under them to where it's.
But the thing I'll tell you, there are players who are right under them. Like Damian Lillard's been right under them, but there's certain players that just stay right under them. You know what I'm saying? Like Damian Lillard never went over them.
But look, Lillard has capped out, but to be capped out at high-end star, I mean, like come on.
That's like if Trae Young is a high-end star his whole career, if he does that and he's like a Damian Lillard type of high-end star his entire career, that's not bad because you know the Hawks franchise, another is brutally honest, but you know, of course, the Hawks franchise is not a celebrated franchise like that. Like no one's like running to watch.
Trae Young's the best star we've had since Dominique. So I mean,
yeah. So it's not celebrated.
Shout out Paul Millsap, but Trae Young, that super
high-end star.
Yeah. Like
who could
hit that? Who could hit it? Because like Trae Young is still 23, 24, so he can still get there. Like now,
I mean, if he gets there, that's great. I mean, that's good for him, but like it's to get there, you have to really.
It's tough. Yeah, he would really have to beat the Bucks in the 7-game series, or
you gotta make the finals. He gotta make the final and be consistently. Like he has to be an MVP candidate. Like Trae Young has not been an MVP candidate.
He has not.
Yet. Like he needs to be an MVP candidate and consistent. That's hard to do. Be a consistent MVP candidate. That's a superstar. Right? Like Luka.
Because I don't know, not to cut you off, but like what Trae Young had, he made the comment after they made the conference finals. He came back saying like, like at the start of last season, like, man, you know, it's kind of hard to get up for these regular season games, man. You know, they just don't have that playoff intensity, and that led to the Hawks having a 4-9 start, and that 4-9 start was why they were in the play-in. So it's like. And that's the thing, like, with these stars being, like, with Luka and Trae, it's like, these guys are so good. Ja Morant, we ain't talking about, so good, so early. Like, it took Giannis, years to become Giannis. It took Kawhi a few years to become Kawhi Leonard. With Jokic, it took them trading Nurkic to Portland for Jokic to really become Jokic. So that's kind of like just interesting with these new wave of NBA players.
But I do want to ask you this too. Though. I do want to ask you this a really, really important question.
All right, sorry. Far away.
You traded obviously Luka Doncic for Trae Young essentially.
Yeah.
Is there any bit of you in your heart that hopes that Luka Doncic fails, plays bad, and does something, a message, like, do you hope that Trae Young, like Luka Doncic fails, or when he fails, and Trae Young succeeds, does that like make you happy? Are you have pettiness in your heart because you know that Trae's gonna be with you forever?
Honestly, like I don't have that hate in my heart because like, bro, Luka is cold. But the thing is, like with Luka and Trae Young, they're both great. Like they both have their flaws. Like even though like they're great, like they're not perfect players. But I don't think that's the point of your question. But I don't root against Luka because I think honestly what would be the ultimate test, and we've seen, you know, with Kobe and LeBron, and you know the battle for LA, these great matchups that these things are just destined to happen. They don't always happen. So I think it would take Luka and Trae would have to face each other in the finals. And we've seen both of them have already gotten to the conference finals, but they didn't take that next step. There was Golden State, there was Milwaukee. I think it's gonna take that. And history shows we probably will never see it, but I would do some things to make sure we could see that matchup. Because that would settle it right there. Luka, Trae, NBA finals, who's gonna do it?
And you know the thing, funny thing is like I could see Luka be the one to get to that finals and Trae just tapping in the conference finals. But I'll tell you this is what thing. If Luka Doncic has significantly more impressive legacy than Trae Young, say you're 15 years in the future and you've seen that Luka, multiple MVPs, Trae Young's a perennial all-star but doesn't get back to the finals, makes another conference finals or two, but similar to a James Harden, just can't get to the freaking finals. As as a lone guy, and Luka's winning, similar to like a Steph Curry. Luka Doncic is winning, successful, main character, all the plot.
Hold on, are you pinning?
How bitter?
Hold on, are you said like Steph Curry? So you're pinning in 4 titles for Luka?
Nah, okay. Well, it could actually not. No, but if he gets a team, if he gets them defensive wings,
Luka, they have the same problem right now. They don't. Well. But they both have where it's like, they need the team around them. And it's just like, and that's the challenge. Like, because I think with Luka, honestly, I'm not sold on Luka just winning a whole bunch of rings. And it's not because he's not special. It's like, bro, winning is hard. Look at LeBron the first 7 years in Cleveland. What's the difference between what LeBron is doing, what LeBron did his first day in Cleveland, and what Luka's doing now?
I think LeBron, like there was 2 dynasties happening at the same time in the NBA with the Spurs. There's not 2 dynasties happening at the same. There's one maybe with Golden State-ish at the end, but the Lakers, Spurs was existing. And then also in the East, also the Cavaliers front office was absolutely atrocious. And then the Boston Celtics were formed with the big 3. Mm-hmm. So there was a potential for another dynasty, even though, they got hurt. Kevin Garnett got hurt that one year and messed them up with that. But so there was a lot of, Cleveland wasn't good at giving them talent. I feel like Dallas is a smarter franchise than Cleveland.
Better at. Let's evaluate Dallas right now. Like they tried with Porzingis, that didn't work.
But they're trying.
Yeah,
the Cleveland was not trying.
Yeah, they're trying, but let's be honest. I don't want to get too nitpicky, but it hasn't worked. Like, all right, so they tried Porzingis, didn't work. They had Jalen Brunson and Dinwiddie. They just let Brunson walk. They let him walk.
Well, that makes sense. They faced it was working. But obviously,
it was working. And what was their answer? Let Jalen Brunson walk. All right, let's go get Christian Wood. Like, good player, but I'm just saying, like, for Luka, it hasn't. Luka's not it's just like with LeBron. It's like you have to do everything around him. So it's like Luka's not the easiest person to play with. Because when you look at Luka, as great as he is, what happens a lot of times at the end of close games?
It's game winners. And he missed game winners.
He's tired. He's tired because he's doing everything right now. As the main guy, like Luka gets attacked ruthlessly defensively in the last 5 minutes of a game. Or, he hits game winners, but I'm just saying, like, the team around him, like, as currently constructed, Luka's not winning. Trae Young's probably not winning. What's so interesting with the league right now is, Golden State is still kind of looming. It's funny how we're trying to just find the next team, like the Clippers. Like, please, win. We're tired of because Golden State, the years they haven't been hurt or whatever, the league still hasn't figured them out. or they've kind of figured them out, but the league still hasn't beaten them. So these next few years are going to be very, very interesting. Like, who's up next? Because it's like the league is wide open right now. Like,
Wembanyama's up next. Victor Wemby. It's Wemby time. He has the plot. He's the main character. Yeah. Now I'll tell you, the goal everyone's trying to do is to get a superstar. So if there's a way that, you know, my team isn't very good. They have good talent. We have good young talent.
Y'all got pieces. Like
it's fun to watch. It's development. It's all about development. I'm down for development after the James Harden nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Like, but when I was a Hawks fan, I remember when the Hawks started their rebuild in 2017-18 season. I was like, you know what? All right, we're embracing the rebuild. I was like, by the time I graduate, we'll be more competitive. Like I said, not a contender, but we'll be competitive. So, and that was 2021. We were in the conference finals. Granted, it was a little fluky, but we got there. So for Houston, I was watching the Houston game. I was like, 2025. Let's be ready.
Hey, look, Brooklyn, I want y'all to fall apart as fast as possible.
They're done.
I have your picks.
They're done. They're done. Round them off.
I have your picks, and everyone made fun of me. I will tell you something, Austin. I'm going to tell you something for real, man. Everyone, and I'm going to look at the camera, too. Everybody likes to write me off when I give these NBA takes. My NBA takes hit. I don't miss on NBA takes. Because because casual people are the people who come and say certain things, right? When we traded James Harden for all those picks, people were like, yo, they traded James Harden for Victor Oladipo, and they traded James Harden for Kelly Olynyk. Like, we're some bumps. Like, we didn't know what we were doing, right?
Yeah.
Me, I look at the big picture. I'm like, no, we traded for essentially 8 first-round picks. Pick swaps and draft picks. That's what we got. That we have your picks until Kevin Durant turns around 40 years old. Meaning, this needs to be successful. What you have is pressure on you because you need to be successful. Because if you're not successful,
there's no getting better.
Then it's all for me.
There's no young.
You don't get better.
Yeah,
it's me. It's mine. You know what I'm saying? And now, as it's aging beautifully for me. It's aging like wine. Just like with Chris Paul, they said, Jesse, why are you getting Chris Paul? Chris Paul is not going to do nothing for y'all. They only won 65 games. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like to play with me and tell me, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. Hey, make fun of Houston, but trust me, I have the knowledge. I know my takes always hit. So if you are about to make a take on me that's negative towards me, hope that I don't give you a rebuttal, because that rebuttal is likely going to happen. If that rebuttal negatively affects your team, then you are screwed. I want you to understand that, okay? These Brooklyn Net fans were everywhere early 2021 talking about some blah, blah, blah. We're going to run the league, blah, blah, blah. We're going to run the league. We don't need no picks, blah, 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 this and that. But y'all forgot. Y'all got players that got no plot. See, y'all could trade all y'all want, but Steph Curry and LeBron James are the main characters of this whole story.
Yes.
If you don't have those two players, right, you better hope, or Giannis, you better hope that they're injured. That's all you got. Because if they're not injured or they're not compromised, you're not winning. See, you got James Harden. Plot is not on his side. Yeah. You've seen that for years. Plot's not on his side. Kyrie Irving, only reason he won a championship is because he was right by the plot master.
Yeah, LeBron, yeah.
The main character, right? By himself, when he said, I don't want to be a part of your story. I want to be my own main character. He's failed. Right. Kevin Durant, when he wanted to be the main character, he fails. Steph Curry, plot. All you got was a bunch of plot people who are side characters in the story. So you better hope you either have the main characters, LeBron and Steph Curry and Giannis. I feel like eventually Luka too. Or you better hope they compromise. Because you not winning regardless.
As well, Kawhi has been compromised,
but see, the reason why Kawhi Leonard won is because Steph Curry's team was compromised because they lost KD and they lost Klay Thompson. That's the only reason they won. So compromised. If a full Warriors team,
they would. I what you're saying in terms of main character. Yeah, that's what allowed Kawhi to. Yeah, for sure.
You see what I'm saying? If they have the full squad, the only time, remember the two main characters faced each other for 4 straight years, right? But one of them had a little more plot on his side because he got Kevin Durant, a great side character. You know what I'm saying? But look, that's just how it is, okay? That's why you need a superstar. Not only because there's levels to superstars. There's like side character superstars, and then there's main character superstars.
And it's so interesting you bring that up. So based on what you just said, like, main character superstars, that's two people, LeBron and Steph. So it's so interesting when like ring culture, everybody's like, oh, like he didn't win, or he had a bad. It's like, bro, like, and that's for everybody. If you don't have LeBron or Steph, like, you're not winning a chip. So we just got to stop holding it against folks that they're not winning. Like, for example, like James Harden. Like, let's cool it on him a little bit.
But one thing I would tell you, you can cool it, but one thing I'll tell you, it depends how they lose it. Like, if you lose in a valiant effort and you just lost because your team just wasn't going to win, that's one thing. Like LeBron, when he lost to, he's a main character, when he lost to Golden State in 2018, that's like, you can't blame him.
Like with the Celtics James Harden, year. Like with the Celtics just losing to Golden State. Admirable effort. But no.
James Harden be choking his life off. Chris Paul didn't even get to the main character because he lost to the future main character in Luka in a terrible Game 7. So if you a side character and you losing like that, I ain't give you no props. You need to at least get to the main character, right?
Get to the
and at least at least valiantly fight in that.
Yeah.
And I'll give you your props. But if you like Charles Barkley, he doesn't want to ring. He faced the biggest main character of all time, Michael Jordan, and he valiantly fought and he lost. I'm not mad at it. Right? That's the biggest main character ever. Yeah, like who has more plot than Michael Jordan?
Yeah, Clyde Drexler fought valiantly against Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was insulted that they were in the same sentence, but
that's funny.
Valiant effort. Yeah.
And that's just how it is, right? When Shaq and Kobe became the main characters, Tim Duncan was a main character, and they were just running the league. Yeah. Steve Nash was great. He won 2 MVPs, but he's not Tim Duncan. You're not Kobe Bryant. You're not Shaq, right? And the only time, well, Shaq did make the final. Shaq did win a championship anyways. Like, without Kobe, he went with Dwayne Wade, and then they won a championship. So even when he wasn't the best player on the team, his main character energy still flowed. And then Dwayne Wade was able to win championships. So it was good for them anyways.
Yeah.
But you're not those players. So that's just that's just how it is. So the purpose for everyone trying to trade and do this and suck and all that, so and get Victor Wembanyama, is you need a main character, and he has main character potential. If you can get a guy who has main character superstar potential, you trade everything for that, because you don't have that and you're not going to win without it. Wow. Last week we had to talk about, would you trade 10 first round picks for Victor? I said, if you're the Pacers or if you're the Wizards or you're the Hornets and for 10 years, and for the last 10 years you've drafted absolutely nothing, right? Like, that 10 years, you're not going to draft anything. I promise. You're not going to draft, we're going to draft superstar 6 years from now, so that's why we're not trading those picks. Bro, trade your picks, get Victor, and then go in free agency, do something else. You can leverage. You can make other trades. If Victor want to leave, then you can trade Victor. But, bro, you need main character potential and main character talent to win. So, I'm trading. Me, as a Rockets fan, I'm not going to trade. I'm just going to sit back. We're not a great team anyways, so I'm gonna sit back, see what happens. It's a very deep draft. I'll get Scoot Henderson. I ain't tripping, but because I have a culture. Like, there is a culture. Like, the Rockets have seen success. The Hornets have never seen success. The Pacers, no. Like, they had Reggie Miller, made the finals one year. Boom, nothing after that.
For a brief stint, almost upset LeBron in 18, but 2018 LeBron that was another thing. Like, it's funny you bring up the Pacers. Like, it's so funny, like, certain things that because a team, like, lost in a valiant effort is just forgotten. But that 2018 Pacers team almost beat LeBron. Almost.
Yeah.
We don't count.
Almost. Yeah. Almost, yeah. It was close, but LeBron, the team, like, says,
are they really about to? Because Cleveland won that Game 7 by, 3 points. I was in the diner hall. I'm like, hold up. Ain't no way Bron about to lose. I was about to say, he's not done. And then he ended up, making that legendary run. But
yeah, he dropped off the Raptors, which is that's hilarious.
Literally ended the Raptors. But the Raptors are in a good spot now, playing team 6-8. That's what they are. They have Fred VanVleet, but everybody else they have Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent, but everybody else is 6'8" and over with long arms and just. That's
good. 3-and-D wings. But they don't have no superstar. No, they have everything besides the superstar.
But the thing with they're not really 3-and-D wings. They're just like Scotty Barnes and OJ Anunoby's 3-and-D, but like Scotty Barnes, OJ Anunoby, Pascal Siakam. Chris, like they just precious. They just have length. They're just team length. Like, but they're banking on Scotty Barnes having that superstar potential.
I think out of the last year's draft, the most people talk about is like Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley is a guy. Yeah, like you just watch him. He don't even know what he's doing yet. Like he's so like Evan Mobley could be that guy. No.
So yeah, they're talking about him. I don't think they're talking about. I think Jalen Green gonna be a high-end star. I think that's just. I mean, he has the athleticism for a superstar, but I think he'll be high-end. Kate Cunningham I think he has superstar potential, but he's kind of being he's starting a little rough. I think right now, something wrong with his shot. Something up with his shot. He's not playing good for the last couple games. First game of the season is preseason, but we'll see how that develops. After that, Scotty Barnes, I believe high-end star, but I don't see Scotty Barnes being a superstar. But hey, who knows? The NBA is more skilled now, so who knows? There might be even more superstars. There's a cap 5 or 6 superstars in the league at the same time. But hey, who knows? It might end up being freaking 10. It might end up being 15 superstars. It might be parity everywhere. It might be a ton of parity. So
yeah, we'll see.
We'll just have to see. But yeah, man, I will go ahead and wrap it up here, man. It was a pleasure having you, on the podcast. Hopefully, like I said, Lakers, y'all are terrible at drafting. WNBA, I need to see more commercials of your players. Trae Young, we'll see if you be like Luka. We'll see if that trade ages well.
So far, it has. So far, it has aged well. They're both.
It's aged decent. I'd say. I wouldn't say too well. It's good. Like your guy is good.
I mean,
but Luka's crazy.
Luka is the better player, but what does he have to like? What does he have to show for it right now? Neither of them have anything to show. Like,
yeah, but look, the thing is, I could be wrong. We'll see how it ages. Hopefully, Trae Young has success.
I want both of them to have success. Like you asked me earlier. I want them both to meet in the finals. But remember, we also wanted Kobe and LeBron in the finals. Never got that. We wanted to see the battle for LA when the Clippers traded for Kawhi and PG. We're never gonna get that. Or if we get it, it'll be underwhelming. We wanted Nets Lakers. Look at it. Man.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if the Hawks, Mavericks. That'd be interesting. That's probably like 6 years from now. So
6, yeah.
But so we'll see how that ages. And my NBA tier list hits. Y'all need to make sure it's in your vocabulary. That's the correct NBA tier list. High end stars. There's low end stars. There's above average, average. There's below average and bottom feeders also.
We didn't bring up on your tier. I might have to go back and I'll have to watch that video. But like, where are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on that tier? Where are they?
Jason Tatum a high end star, but he's one of those people that's tapping and maybe breakthrough, maybe not, but he's there. Jaylen Brown to me is more of a low end star, but has like a tapping of the high end star. It's like he's a tapping because I don't know if he's made an All-Star game yet, so he's like doing this to get to high end star. That's how they're both tapping.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll see if they break through. If they both break through, then they'll be in the finals again.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see if they both break through. But yeah, man, it was a pleasure to have you on here, man. Hey, y'all make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'm gonna make sure to go to the timestamps if you want specific parts. I'm put timestamps of all the specific things we talk about in this video, just in case if you want to just watch a specific part of the video. I'll talk to you guys later. I love you, and we out of here. Peace.